Yo, what is happening, guys? It's GM Cody back with another video this week, and hope you guys have had a good week. I'm sorry the video is late this week, but it's been a pretty busy week, especially at the beginning of the week. And I did post something, on my community feed or whatever that I was thinking about talking about a Palladium game, and I definitely want to do that. I think we might do that next week. But I'm a little worn out this week, so I was like, I just want to take it easy. And also, my wife has really been in the Christmas spirit. She's got lights up here, she's got a Christmas tree up here, presents, the whole deal. She's really gone all out decorating. Well, more so, than we usually do for Christmas time. So she's really got me in the spirit of the season and the mood. And I thought, what'd be fun is to talk about my top five uh, best gaming related presents, gifts that I received for Christmas. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So just to preface this, these are just things that I could think of off the top of my head. Now, I've received a lot of cool gaming items for Christmas and birthdays and stuff throughout the years, but these are the ones that immediately came to mind when I was thinking about it today, and I thought it would be cool, fun video to do. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And also, I'll say these aren't necessarily in any particular order, but I tried to rank them what I thought in my head was, the most memorable, nostalgic, and really stuck with me. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it, shall we? So number five, the story behind this one is that I was dating this girl for a long time, and this was probably about well over 10 years ago. And as you guys probably have gathered, I'm a big Warhammer fan. I grew up playing Warhammer and all that stuff. I've talked about it many times. I like collecting old Warhammer stuff, the books and the models and whatnot. So she would buy me a lot of gaming related stuff for Christmas. She would generally be like, "What do you want for Christmas?" and be some kind of gaming related thing. And that rang true even when I was a kid too, right? My parents were always asking me what I wanted, and when I got into gaming, it was usually gaming related, and I didn't always get those things. But anyways, I digress. Back to this particular situation. She asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I told her what I wanted, and a couple months later, she gave me this. And this is Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd Edition. Now, I didn't grow up playing, Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd Edition. I grew up playing 4th and 5th Edition and onwards, right? So I had never played this when I received this, but I was playing the modern version of Warhammer Fantasy at the time and was kind of dissatisfied with it, and was kind of looking at the previous editions, kind of waxing nostalgia, trying to find a game that I would enjoy more. And a lot of people recommended to me at the time to try out Warhammer Fantasy 3rd Edition because a lot of people said it was their favorite rendition of Warhammer Fantasy Battles. And so, I was kind of on the lookout and the hunt for this. At the time, this was not a cheap book, and I still don't think it really is, unfortunately. But she bought this for me. And she also bought me the Armies book, which is over there too. I didn't grab it off the shelf. But needless to say, this was a really, really cool gift and a book that I really cherish and love. And it's really awesome, to have this in the collection. And one day we might actually, do an overview of Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd Edition, because it is one of my favorite versions of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, if not my favorite version. But anyway, she bought me that, and really cool, and definitely makes the top 5 list. And I'm going to rank that at number 5, but to be honest, looking back, I'd probably rank it a little bit higher. But needless to say, I've gotten a lot of fun out of not just playing this, but also just looking at it throughout the years. And so it's a very memorable and very cool gift that I will cherish for a long time. So that's the first one, Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd Edition. The next one, number 4. So number 4, I can't remember exactly how old I was. I think I was 11 or 12. And before that, me and my dad used to play a lot of games together, and he was really into, and I was too. We'd play a lot of these historical war games, not with miniatures, but the old Havilon Hill games and stuff, which I have a bunch of those in the closet there, and I would like to talk about that stuff too. But he played a lot of those kind of games in the '70s and whatnot, and so me and him would play those kind of games. And of course, I grew up, really, really loving to read about history, especially military history and that sort of thing. And so we're walking through the mall, and I was about 11 or 12, and I saw a certain game in a mall kiosk. I guess they were selling a bunch of board games there. It was close to Christmas time, so they were probably peddling a bunch of toys and games and stuff. And I saw this huge board game sitting there. Now at that time, you didn't see a whole lot of games. At least I didn't see a whole lot of games like this, like in the mall or whatever. And it just blew me away. I was like, holy shit, I really want that. I saw it, and that was my number one thing I wanted for Christmas that year. And it was pretty expensive too, if I remember right, at the time. And so lo and behold, I woke up that Christmas morning, and there was this big box sitting there, and I still have it. And here it is. Axis and Allies. And this is the version I got that Christmas, 25 years ago or whatever. And we played the hell out of it. Not just me and my dad, but also me and my friends. And later on, I've talked about how I got a gaming group in middle school. I would bring that over, at least once a month. Usually I'd bring it with me every week, just in case we wanted to play something else. And that was kind of a go-to game for us in middle school, was Axis and Allies. And of course, after that, I played it through the years with all kinds of different people. And I played it so much that I kind of almost mastered the game. Right? I haven't anymore. I haven't played Axis and Allies in a long time. But back then, I loved Axis and Allies, and we played the hell out of it. Of course, Milton Bradley made several of these games. I used to have the Fall of Rome one too, which I can't remember the name of, but that was an excellent one. Me and my dad played that one a lot. There was Fortress America, and of course there was Shogun, and there might have been another one, but I played all those, and they were all excellent, and they all played very similar, very simple kind of game, very Risk-like with a little bit more complexity, but very memorable, very fun, and it was a great, I had a great experience with Axis and Allies, and it's very memorable and still has a prominent space up there on my gaming shelves. So that's number 4. Number 3. So number 3, I received this. Okay, so the story of this one was I got this, I think, in 1997, which is the year it came out. And so I was going to the mall with my mom. Again, it was close to Christmas time, and I guess she was doing some last-minute Christmas shopping or whatever. And, of course, my go-to place in the mall back then was either the music store, the toy store, or I would go to the bookstore, Walden Books. And I'm sure, many of you know about Walden Books. And, of course, the things I was looking at in Walden Books was usually in the gaming section, because they actually used to have a gaming section in there, which, bookstores still do today, but just a little bit different games. So I'm like looking through the books and stuff, and I saw a box sitting there. Now, unfortunately, I don't have this box set anymore. But my mom came to find me in Walden Books, and I was like, Mom, I really want this for Christmas. Like, I don't, I don't care about anything else. Like, I want this for Christmas. And she's like, okay, well, I'll get it for you right now, but you can't have it till Christmas. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. That's fair. So she got it for me, and she put it up in the closet, to wait till Christmas. And of course, like every day I'm like bugging her about it. I'm like, can I just get it now? Like blah, blah, blah. And finally, like a week later, she caved in and just gave it to me early. And what it was this, which I have a picture of. It was the Star Wars introductory adventure game. Now, this was the basically the starter box for the West End Games D6 Star Wars game. And this is how I was introduced to that game. Now, it came with basically everything you needed to play. It came with like a book of character templates, the rule book, an adventure book, and it also came with a like a solo adventure book, like a solo mini campaign. It had like 3 or 4 solo adventures, I think, or maybe just one, but maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it had like 3 or 4 group adventures and 1 solo adventure. And the other cool thing about it was it came with all these, which you can't see very well on here. It came with all these paper miniatures that you cut out and folded together, as well as a chicken walker there. And it came with a bunch of battle mats, and of course it came with like visual pictures, to show the players and stuff. And I was totally all about this thing, and loved it. And that's what got me into the D6 Star Wars game, which is still to this day one of my favorite role-playing games, even though I haven't played it in a very long time. But we played the hell out of that game, and it wasn't too long after I actually got the real rule book, but we still used the cardboard miniatures and everything. And I don't have that box set anymore. I really wish I did. I would like to reacquire it. But what I do have is something very similar, which is the Men in Black introductory game, and the contents are very, very similar to what was in the Star Wars box set. Now, I haven't opened this one in, I don't know, man, it's been a long time. I realized I hadn't looked at this forever. So, here's like the basic rules, and it's got like a little solo adventure in there, and all the rules and stuff. It's got all the character templates. Here's the battle maps, like I was talking about. Stuff like this. And these are not as good as the Star Wars ones, right? But still pretty cool. But what I really wanted to show you guys, and I'm sure most of you have seen this stuff before, is these, paper cardboard miniatures, which came in a lot of different games back then, and I'm really nostalgic for these things. Like there were a couple D&D box sets that had them, and a couple other role-playing games back then did a lot of these like cardboard kind of miniatures, and I'm very nostalgic for it. And I used to buy a lot of this stuff because it was a lot cheaper than buying miniatures, and I could just use the cardboard cutouts for all kinds of stuff. So anyways, this is very similar to what the Star Wars game looked like. And for whatever reason, I'm very nostalgic for that. So that was really cool. And of course, it became one of my favorite. Sorry, congested a little bit. One of my favorite role-playing games of all time. Now, number 2 is something I acquired in recent years. I think it was last year that I acquired this. And I've always been a big art fan. I'm a huge fan of art. That's what drew me into role-playing games from the get-go, is the art. And I've always loved comic books, and I've always loved fine art. I just really love art, and it's something I wish I could do, but I just don't have the talent for, unfortunately. But I really admire it and really love it. Anyways, one of my favorite fantasy artists is Larry Elmore. Now, I've had the opportunity to meet Larry a couple times in my life, and he's always been a cool dude, and I've had things signed by him and prints and stuff. But last year, my good friend Chase, and thank you, Chase, he always gets me good stuff, and he gets me a lot of gaming-related stuff. My number 2 item would be the thing sitting right behind me there, and it's that Larry Elmore print back there, which was signed by, Larry Elmore. And Chase had it signed and framed for me, and it's really awesome. And obviously, I love it so much it sits right behind me. Now, I don't actually know what that picture is from. I really don't know, which is really odd because I usually know where all these images come from. I don't know where that one comes from. If you guys do, please let me know because I am not familiar where that one comes from. Also had the Shadowrun cover in my bedroom, which I bought that for myself. It sits prominently above my bed, but needless to say, I love that print, and it sits here in my computer room, and it's great. So that would be number 2 on my list. Now, number 1, I'm gonna get a little swig of tea here. Build up suspense. Already built up enough? Okay. Number 1. So number 1, I acquired when I first got into gaming. So I was talking about when I first got into gaming. I think one thing I have not made clear to a lot of people is when I first got into gaming, I got into all aspects of gaming all at once. So I got into role-playing games, miniature games, card games, and board games and all that stuff all at the same time, like literally in the same day or week. Like I just got into all of it at the same time. And one of those games I got into right off the get-go was BattleTech. Now, I've always been a fan of classic BattleTech. Not so much of a fan of the newer storylines and all that stuff, but like classic BattleTech I love. I still love playing BattleTech to this day. I'm not like as hardcore about it as some people are, but I grew up playing BattleTech. I love BattleTech. And it's really cool that BattleTech has seen like a renaissance, a resurgence the past couple of years. Because, 10 years ago when I was really hot and heavy into it, I had to beg people to play it. And now there's people all over the place playing it. So, but hey, whatever. But it's really cool that, BattleTech is seeing this resurgence. But around that time, my grandmother, we call her Mimi, Mimi asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and she always got me cool stuff. And so I told her I wanted the BattleTech box set for Christmas, not thinking that my Mimi, my grandmother, would actually buy this, box set for me. But anyways, this would have been the year after I got into gaming, I think. I think I was 10 when I acquired this, or so. Yeah, it might have been around, I don't know. It was around that time period when I first got into gaming. So Christmas, day, we got gifts at my parents' house or whatever. Or I think we used to do that on Christmas Eve. That was always our tradition. We would open gifts on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, we'd go to my grandmother's house, and my whole family would be there. And one of my favorite parts about Christmas at my grandmother's was spending time with my older cousin Tommy, who's been on the channel here. And we would, hang out, all that time. Anytime we get together for a family gathering, me and him were always, hanging out. So that year we're all opening gifts, and lo and behold, this is what I got. The BattleTech 4th edition box set. And this is probably, for whatever reason, this is like the most memorable gaming Christmas present I ever received. I think one reason it's so memorable to me is because I got so much fun and enjoyment out of this one box. I played so many games with just the contents you see here. And now, sadly, I don't any longer own this box set, which really sucks. I recently was looking at it on eBay when I was thinking about this and would like to acquire it just for nostalgic sake. Even though I have other BattleTech box sets and rule books and miniatures and stuff now, I would really like to acquire this just for nostalgia. But anyways, I acquired that Christmas, and immediately me and my cousin busted open, and he's like, dude, we're playing BattleTech the whole time I'm here. So we didn't just play BattleTech though. We actually, it came with a paper hex map too, which it didn't show in that picture. I think it came with 2 of them. And it might have been one mat, and it might have been reversible. I think I can't really remember. Of course, it at least came with one. Sorry, dry throat. So we went to the hobby store. We bought some modeling clay, and we modeled the hills for the hex mat, and we also bought some little, HO scale, like, trees, and so we modeled the hills on the map. We baked them in the oven, my grandmother's oven. So we actually had like model clay hills. I don't think we painted them or anything, but we just had these little clay hills, and we also had little model trees and put them where the woods were. And we played with the card. It came with all these cardboard cutouts, which I just showed in that picture there of all the mechs, and it had all the record sheets and rules and stuff in there. And we played BattleTech all weekend, and it was awesome. And from then on out, I became a lifelong BattleTech fan, and I mainly just played out of that box set for a long, long time. Now, throughout the years, I did acquire some miniatures, and of course, acquired like the big, master rule book and all that stuff. And so I, off and on, played BattleTech through the years in many different forms. And of course, currently now I have like hundreds of pewter and plastic miniatures and hard maps and 3D terrain and all that stuff. But back then, it was really, really a lot of fun just to play with the contents out of this box. Now, at the time, I didn't realize I was kind of getting gypped, because the box set before this, the 3rd edition BattleTech box, was actually kind of superior to this one, because it came with actual plastic miniatures. And of course, the box sets that come out today are much more superior. They come out with not just plastic miniatures, but they're really nice plastic miniatures. And they're a lot nicer, in the contents and stuff. But back then, I didn't care. Like, this meant the world to me, and I got so much fun out of that box set. And it was really, really cool. I think one reason it holds such a special place is because it was one of the first like gaming products I ever got. It was one of the first real complete games that I received and, could play with my friends. And we played the hell out of it, so that was really awesome. And I still love BattleTech to this day and have many fond memories of playing out of that box set. So this isn't, this video hasn't been as long as my usual videos, and my throat's kind of giving out on me. I think it's just because I'm tired, so I got a little bit of dry throat here. So I'm not going to kick this for too much longer. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did, and also let me know in the comments below some of your most favorite, gaming related Christmas presents you received, and if not gaming related, just some of your favorite Christmas presents. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you like the video. It always helps, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate all you guys and all the support and all you guys that reach out to me, and feel free to anytime you want. And yeah, that's about it. What else do we have coming up? Well, we are taking a break on the OSC game until the 7th, I believe. I'm looking at the calendar. Yes. January the 7th is when we will be continuing the Old School Essentials game. Now, we are not continuing Old School Essentials. We are converting over to AD&D 2nd Edition, but it'll still be the same campaign, still be the same game. So look forward to that. Other than that, Tuesday I'll be doing the Star Trek game on Bear's channel, of course. And I think that's about it. So without further ado, I'm going to wish you guys a good night. Hope you all have a good one. Peace. See you later.